Hi there, my name is Beth MacDonald Stone and I'm an avid knitter and knitwear designer coming to you from Bermuda. Well, I'm actually coming to you from one of my closets. Well, a closet that I have appropriated in the guest room for my knitting. Avid knitters, you know what it's like. We all use the spaces that we can find because we love to create and love to make. This episode is going to be quite different because it is going to be about my love of creation and what I've created in 2024. I've done quite a lot. I've been basically a full-time knitter, a knitwear designer too, so that's the focus. But of course, I love to knit other people's designs. I think you learn so much. I think it's so important. So today I'm going to go through everything that I've knit in 2024. It's not meant to be boastful or anything like that. I just think it's really wonderful to go through what you've knit, think about what you've learned, think about what your plans are for the next year, which I probably won't do that much with you today, but we'll just recap and and go from there. The other thing that I think is really interesting is even though I'm doing knitwear knitwear design full-time, it still feels like a very, very, very slow process. But then it is amazing at the end of the year to figure out what you've accomplished. And so I've knit quite a lot. In fact, let's see, I've got my cheat sheet here because you know me, I can't remember names or anything like that. And this cheat sheet is exactly what's going to be below in the description that will tell you everything that that you might need to know. I'm going to go through things quickly because I've got 48 items. It was a busy year. I hope 2025 is too. So yeah, so let's get right down to it. I'm going to do things in sort of groups. And it might actually take me a couple days to record this. So today we're up here in the guest room in my knitting closet. This is the closet that I keep all of the designs that are not mine. The designs that are mine will go to downstairs and will be in this episode too, but it might be today or might be tomorrow. And I keep those closer to my desk, to my workspace, because I'm always referring to them and people email me with questions, and that's great. It's good to have those on hand. But up here is just sort of my wardrobe of knitwear of things that I haven't designed, but I've very gladly knit. So let's get started. So the first one that I knit in 2024 and completed was the Turtle Dove 2 by Espace Tricot. Knit this out of Handmaiden fine yarn. I gave this one away. I gave it to my mother. So I do have a photo. Luna's come in to say hi and she's not interested. She's off. Anyways, I gave this one to my mother, so she has it. I do think I took a photo of it for my Ravelry, which I'll put in here. And that was my second time knitting the Turtle Dove ever. I love this design. I think it's great. It's a great everyday piece. The next knit I knit was the Mellow vest by Irene. And this design just so inspired me. Just very 1970s. I don't know if you grew up in the 70s or 80s. That's when I did. And it was really popular to have these sort of shearling vests with like your turtleneck. I remember like white turtleneck, black or gray shearling vest, a plaid skirt, and like white hose and, you know, the Mary Janes. And that was like living it up as a little girl for me. That's what it was. So when this pattern came out, I had to knit it. I thought it was so amazing. What a way of using the textures and stuff like that. I used a jewel closure here. They're fantastic. I love them. And I always recommend them. But yeah, so Irene, for this, I used CaMaRose Snefnug, which I think is held double, and the Gepard Garn Teddy Deer, which is the textured trimming. This was a lot of fun. It was a hard knit because holding the Snefnug double made it very dense, which is the look, which is great. It's successful. I found it hard. It was hard on my hands, and it was very hard for me to see because it was so dense and to picking up stitches and stuff like that, especially with the Teddy Deer also being textured. So it was it was a fun project, and Irene Lynn's patterns are great, but it was tricky. It was a trickier one. After that, I knit the Snowy Forest by Midori Hirose. I love this sweater, and I can't wait for it to get a little chillier to wear it. It's such a lovely pattern to knit. I knit this when I was recuperating from a small surgery, so it was a very easy knit, and I could definitely do it when I wasn't feeling particularly brilliant. And, you know, really successful. I love, love, love it. The yarns I used are, let me just fold it up and put it up over here. The yarns I used for this: Onion Knit Silk and Kid Mohair, color gold, and Woolfolk Luft, color teal. And I thought those made a really interesting melange together. So it's sort of like cool and warm all at the same time. After Snowy Forest, I was traveling with my son and I decided that I would knit the Eurus Sweater by Aegyoknit. This was really fun. I was traveling and I knew I'd have time, you know, long airplane rides and time in the hotel because I really like to decompress in a hotel after tours, exploring places. So this is what I chose to knit. It was really fantastic. It was really fun. It really held my, you know, captured my attention. This was not something like I could work on the go, but I'm not a knitter to take my knitting everywhere. So this is like hotel, airplane. I can't knit in the car. It makes me really nauseous. So it was really perfect. And the charts were great. It held my attention. It was not an easy knit either. I found it a bit confusing. Sorry, let's hold it up closer. Like, look at those lovely textures. It's knit sideways, so it's knit from like one sleeve over here, right across. You pick up for the body, decrease again, sleeve over there. It was a great knit. I'm excited to wear it more. I did wear it last year. It was a tricky knit. I didn't think it was that well explained, but it was a worthwhile knit. It was really fun. And for the Eurus Sweater, I used Isager Yarn Isager Soft, color E2S. So that was probably early spring, and as we were getting into summer or warmer spring and the excitement of summer, that's when I knit this. This is the Agave by Yumiko Alexander. I knit this using Tanis Garn Lina, which is one of my favorite summer weight yarns. I think it's really easy to manage, really easy. I'm a sweaty Betty, so you can wash and wear. It's perfect. And literally you can put it in the dryer too. So it's just fantastic. This is a really simple design. There were sleeve details that you could add. I just didn't think it needed it. And again, I really get hot, so having open arms is really important for me. So that was really fun. Interestingly enough, I posted a really casual picture of me in the kitchen. Literally just come out of the shower and it was just like a torso photo. And that's definitely been my most watched or most liked or whatever on Instagram, which I just thought was really interesting, like by leaps and bounds from anything I've ever done on Instagram. So that was really interesting. So obviously the design of this and its simplicity and its beauty really strikes the fancy of so many people. So that's really cool. The other one that I knit is the Fleetwood Sweater. Now this is coming into the fall. I knit this using Gilliatt, Rerum Natura Gilliatt and the color Fusian, and then just some DK yarn scraps. I thought this was so much fun to knit. I loved the, you know, making the granny squares. I haven't done crochet for a really long time. Connecting them with a little bit wonky, as you can see. And I kind of like that. It's kind of fun. It's really cozy. It's really boxy. I did it really oversized intentionally. And as you can see, the last time I wore it, I rolled up the sleeves. Love that look. I actually really grabbed this one a lot. So this was a really successful knit. I could have done the crochet squares better, but you know what? I think sometimes it's really nice when it just looks a little like cool and imperfect, and you know, and I could have spent forever on it and I just didn't feel like it, and I really like it. So love that. So Tanis Lavalee, very talented designer. I also knit for my husband, For Fox's Sake, and I'll have to include a picture probably here. I don't have it with me. It's actually in the other room. Jeff's been wearing it nonstop and he looks so handsome in it, and he's thrilled. I'm thrilled. There was a lot of funny mistakes that I made. It was all my problem. It was just me knitting later at night when I really shouldn't be knitting. And so it took a lot longer than probably needed to. And you know what, whatever. It was fun. I was happy to knit it. I think I knit, you know, the usual sort of 3 sleeves because the first time wasn't right. And the first time I got the short row shaping a little bit skewed with dividing for sleeves. So like, you know, it was fantastic. And then I ended up running out of yarn and I had to use some, a friend of mine had some yarn that she could supplement, which was great. Anyways, it was just one of those sort of comedy of errors, but it was so worth it. It was so worth all the extra time. And Jeff loves it. I love it. It's great. So that's kind of the main sweaters that I knit from other designers. I knit a lot of socks from other designers too. I love having socks on the go all the time. So let's take a look at that. And you know what, the great thing of having this here is I can just pop things away. So I love Summer Lee's designs. And as everyone I think always says, you know, her use of color, use of pattern are so clever and fresh and charming. And I agree 100%. So I did, as soon as she proposed the idea of the Colorwork Cuff Club, where you purchase the year in advance and every month you get a new Colorwork cuff design with basically a simple basic that would fit into a simple basic sock concept. I was I was in like Flynn. And the great thing is that sometimes there's 2 patterns and some per month, and sometimes just 1, whatever, but they're all great. I think I've only missed 1 month that just didn't really do it for me, but I might go back to it because it's sort of growing on me. But anyways, so I knit in August. She came out with 2 designs, and I knit both of them. And it was great. I was traveling. I was in New York City there for the summer, and I had gone to Brooklyn General Store. So I went and bought some Magpie Swanky sock, which is now my favorite sock. I bought 2 colors. So the first one I did was this one. The colors will be listed down below for you. But, you know, I had the bell bottom blues and H2O, I think. Anyway, so I did this, and then it worked perfectly. I did the inverted color scheme for her second sock from that month. And that was great. I think I still have leftover, so really fun. Also then I think I missed September. The September one didn't really appeal, but again, like I said, it's kind of grown on me, and you might see it come around. But October, I loved the little ghosts, and I used, sorry, that's so you can see the heel. Her fit is fantastic for me, and I'm a heel flap and gusset gal, so these designs are just perfect. But for October, I did the little ghosts. They were super fun. I used a Tanis Lavalee, one of her sock bases in a color, gosh. Oh, Deep Space, sorry. And then I just used yarn scraps that I had in a white for the ghost's face. I knew there was an option to do 3 colors around, and I can't remember, I think it was you would have more of a color here and then have black for the eyes and mouth and the white for the ghost. I just did it this way. It made it simpler. I'm not really a fan of 3 colors in the round on a small circumference. Sorry if you can hear Luna, she's chatting up some neighbors, I guess. And it doesn't sound that friendly, but she's on the porch just keeping watch. Anyways, so this is really fun. There's the pair. Really love those. And then the November pattern. Is it November? Yeah. November pattern. Oh, and I have the December pattern. I wonder where that is. I'm not finished it. That's why it's not here. Anyway, so the November pattern was this. Again, there was one version that had like a lot of different colors. It was really great. I loved it. Just didn't want to knit it. I really like things just that are fun. And so I did these 2. So again, this is Magpie Swanky sock that I bought at Rhinebeck, color velvet or velvet underground, and just a hot pink that I have no idea what it was, but I really wanted to play with those colors. So that's great. You can see that in Summer Lee's instructions, you go up a needle size for the color work. It does make it kind of balloon out a little bit when they're not on, but when the socks are on, they fit like a dream, and they go over. I've got a bigger heel. Is that a higher instep? Something where it's the crook of my foot, I need extra space to get the socks on. So her sock design is perfect, and it fits, and I love it. So then other socks that I knit this summer are all here, I think. Yep, here we are. So I knit the Spoondrift socks, which are lovely, 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 beautiful little stitch pattern. And I knit those as shorties, but using my dear friend Priscilla's yarn that she used to dye, no longer. That was called Sheepwrecked in Bermuda, and color the Bermuda wall. And I love those socks. I actually wore those a lot this summer when I was walking. They were fantastic. I knit in October, I knit the Hearth socks, and all the information from designers and stuff is all listed below. But this I used Woolens and Nosh. Oh gosh, this was the craziest name. And it was a quote from the Halloween movie this year. That was the original one. Anyways, whatever. The color's called I Heard Tore Your Faces Right Off. Whatever. I don't know. But it was purple and pinks and yellows, and those are so my color. I love this, the Hearth sock pattern. I would definitely do it again. The one thing I hadn't taken into consideration was that there are pearl rows, and of course with color changing yarn and pearl rows, you can get those funny little pearl blips, which isn't ideal, but it's a lesson learned. And I'd love to reknit the Hearth socks with a solid color. I think they're great. I think these are fun. I really like them. Sorry, there's the actual sock. I think they're really fun, really like them, you know. Just in the future, maybe I'll be more mindful of picking patterns with self-striping socks that don't have pearl rows in them. And you can see I did a better job later on. Heel toe do-si-do. Yes, so this is where I did a better job. Heel toe do-si-do. Yep, that's this one here. These are great. This is a better pattern for self-striping yarns. And this is again Woolens and Nosh, the advent for this year. So again, I'm not going to publish it till after Christmas, so you'll be seeing it after Christmas. But I did kind of, once I started, I kept my perfect dates until you start to get into like the heel, and I started to do a few more just because I wanted to keep the momentum and not lose my place. I love how these fit. They're amazing. And I love how the colors work to really define the ankle and the heel. There's a picture on Instagram that really shows how that really is quite lovely. I do find, and I should make a note of it, and so that I remember in the future, the Woolens and Nosh Targi is a little bit plumper than the average sock yarn that I knit with, and so I do have to go up a size and needle. But once I do that, it's fantastic. So I usually knit my socks on a 2.25, is that right? A US 1, but I have to knit her sock yarn on a 2.5, US 1.5, if that makes sense. But yeah, so that's great. That was also done. And then of course the Go-Go Dynamo shawl, which I have in the drawer right here, right in the middle of the drawer. And this was so much fun. This was the MCal, of course, Stephen West MCal for this year. And if I hold it like this, you can see I do roll it up like a burrito, like Stephen West suggests. And I think it's a great way of storing them. I have a drawer behind me that is all shawls. I've weeded them down to my favorites, and I'm just thrilled. So whenever I open that drawer, it's kind of joy. And this one was front and center. So this was great. This design, I used Walcott yarns, Opus in 2 colors. Again, they're listed below. And a little bit of a Mohair dare using some leftover Mohair from Cake Wool colored Dog's Tooth Violet. So yeah, so that's what I knit from other people's designs. So we're going to pause there, and I'll come back to you probably from another location. Stay tuned. Okay, bye. Okay, we're back, new location. So now we're going to go through, my shelves look a little bare because I've got all the ones that I've designed. We're now in the section where I keep my designs. My office is right over there, computer. It's really convenient. I can come over and check and do what I need to. So that's why this is down here. Anyways, it used to be my interior design space where I used to have a lot of sample books. I still have some. Hard to get rid of. There's some that are my favorites. But anyways, slowly the knitwear design is taking over, and it's fully taken over my time. So anyways, so what have I done in 2024 with regards to design work and patterns and things like that? So the first ones that I'll go through right now are what I've designed this year, what I've knit this year, and what is already published. So we'll start with that, and then I'll do a second section on my designs of what I've knit, designed, but isn't published yet on Ravelry, and that'll be in another little section. So we'll start with this. I've got mounds in front of me, and so it's actually been a productive year. I really am pleased. You know, like I said, it's a slow process, and to know that I'm actually getting somewhere and being productive is really good because it can feel really laborious, and I always sort of feel like I'm not getting enough done, which I'm kind of pleased. I think I have. Anyways, the spring, my big push was to get the Burmese Basic concept fully published and all out on Ravelry. So the Burmese Basic concept is, I figured out a mathematical formula using the help of an Excel, I find that word really hard, Excel spreadsheet, to basically take any weight of yarn and knit a basic sweater. So all the sweaters would look the same. They would just have different weights of yarn. So there's everything from a Burmese Basic 12, which is a 12 stitch gauge, all the way up to a 28. Each gauge is sold separately because there's a lot of work that went into each gauge. Even though it's like a mathematical equation, of course, then you have to put it into reality and real numbers and not fractions, and make it work and make it knittable, you know, and then test knit it and tech edit. Like everything's been tech edited, everything's been test knit. So it's a big process. So it literally took me over 2 years to do this from start to completion. I've had people ask me to do the same thing for raglans, and I think that's a great idea. I'm just not up for it right now. I'm really having fun exploring and designing more one-off pieces, but that may happen. So if that appeals to you, do comment below. I'd love to hear what you think. Anyways, so on the Burmese Basics, last year I had a few more to knit. I guess 5 left to knit. There was a total of 9. A lot were knit multiple times before that they weren't the finals. But anyways, so here we go. We'll just do it really quickly. Burmy Basic 12. I used Garnstudio Drops Wish. It's got a fold crease in it. This was great. And here I just copied one of the other test knitters from another one of the Burmy Basic designs and used yarn overs for the increases. And I thought that was really successful. So that was great. That's the 12. The 14, I used Lemon Kid Big Birdie color Peanut. I did this really simply. No sleeve shaping. There's a sleeve shaping option. There's a straight sleeve option. This one is the straight sleeve option. I did a split hem. Again, the whole idea is that you customize your version and make it how you want. So that was great. Lovely, fluffy diamond Big Birdie from the Lemon Kid. The 16 is one of my favorite yarns, which is Biche Bouche, the Gros Silk and Mohair. I did a really big turtleneck, and from one of my dresses, I've noticed that the turtleneck was split in the back, which makes it lie really beautifully. It's not showing up there. You know what I mean? You can picture it. But again, I just did maybe more of a, I think everything else is exactly as per pattern. So Biche Bouche, the Gros Silk and Mohair color Lavender. That was really great. Love that. And I'm strategically videoing these from the locations because it's Christmas time and I feel like everything is upside down. People are using everything. If you could see it all that way, it's a wrapping paper station and the kitchen is chaotic because it's cooking. My son's studying, so the dining room table is full of his books. He has to clear it. We've got to set the table. Anyway, so this is why we're strategically doing it. I don't have to have another huge mess to clean up. And actually, it's kind of cool to have my storage spaces as the backdrop. I hope you do. I hope you think so too. So now the Burmy Basic 24, which is La Bien-Aimée. Again, I knit this entirely to pattern. I don't think I helically knit. Maybe I did. I think I might have helically knit the body, not the sleeves. And this is La Bien-Aimée Felix color Violet Amethyst, which I, lovely. And as you know, color pooling shows more dramatically on camera than it does in real life. And I have lots of opinions on color pooling, which is an upcoming design. Anyways, so then the last Burmy Basic I knit, and the last I think to publish was the 26. This one's kind of wrinkly. This is in Townhouse Yarns. I love the name of this, Bad Girl Riri. The yarn was really lovely. I'd picked it up at Rhinebeck the year before, and then I just used some woolly mammoth fibers from an Advent, just the little minis for each cuff so that they're complementary, not matching. This I really like. This is a great sweater to wear. I love the weight of it. 26, 28 gauge, 24 gauge. They're really nice to wear, especially when the temperatures sort of do this. And they're great to pack and travel with. So those are really great. So that was sort of the Burmy Basics. Finished that series. Glad to have it behind me. It was really fun. It's a great staple, great resource. If you ever get to fall in love with yarn somewhere, whether you're at a festival or a yarn store or just for whatever reason, you've always got a pattern there and you can totally use that pattern and riff off of it. So it's really good. I like it. I'm pleased with it. It was a lot of work, but it was really good. Anyways, after that, I was working on the Tamarind. Now, yes. So I was publishing this design and I love this. This is just so cozy. For this, I'm using Diamond Lane Birdie color Bell Bottom Blues and Loam. Loam is such a great, it's that sort of very dark green, almost brown. And I just love how they play together. This is a really cozy sweater called the Tamarind, because tamarind trees have gourds that hang from them that are just, I think, so festive and jolly and kind of Christmassy or wintry. Anyways, so that's the Tamarind. Where should I put this? Great. After the Tamarind was the Glimmer View design that I put out. I knit this twice. This was a more casual version of the Glimmer View. This was knit with Ito Sensei color Goat and Wool Dreamers Mota color 201. And in this, the Glimmer View is just a slip stitch motif. I really liked it. It's really pretty. So that's a sort of more casual version. And then I did a more elevated version too, which I love. And oh my gosh, if I could have you feel this, this is just so soft and the drape is amazing. So it's the same pattern, just different wool. I wanted to show you how sort of an elevated version would be. This is knit with Cashmere People Yarns Cashgora Sport. And do you see the shine of the sheen on that? It was just so beautiful. And then I held that with my favorite Shibui Silk Cloud in ivory. And yeah, the Silk Cloud is Shibui Silk Cloud. There's nothing like it, I don't think. And how exquisite the drape is. There's a huge silk content. It's not overly fuzzy, it just kind of gives the nicest little halo. So having that Shibui Silk Cloud with the Cashgora, or Cashmere from the People, stunning. I mean, this is just such a beautiful sweater. So we'll put that there. Okay, so that was the Glimmer View. Then we were getting into summertime, and I knit and designed the Sea Swell tee, which is really fun. It's kind of a piece of art. It's very boxy, as you can see, but it looks gorgeous on, and it is a really lovely slip stitch motif in the hem, and I cannot see what's going on, so yeah, I hope you see it. So that's all slip stitches. For this I used Rerum Natura Antigone in a bunch of colors. Let's see if I can do this quickly. Graphite, Mistral, Cypress, and Voie Lactée. So that's really fun. It's a really interesting piece, summer piece. I'm really proud of it. It's very kind of artsy and creative, and I thought that was really beautiful. It was really fun. I wore it this summer in New York a bit over a linen dress, and I just thought it was a bit striking. Yeah. Anyways, after that I was traveling again, and I wanted to re-knit one of my first ever design patterns, which is called Hanging Leaves. And I re-knit it in a lovely yarn from, again, Rerum Natura, and I think this is Penelope. Robinson, I don't know why, Robinson, in a natural, the color Loutre, L-O-U-T-R-E. This is a lovely, very simple design. It's meant to be very oversized. It's a one size that fits most. I have knit it even larger on Aran weight yarn with a larger needle to be oversized for someone with a 56-inch bust or so. So that was really great. There's lots to do with this pattern. It's simple, it's easy, it's really successful, and I wear this quite a bit. I have to say, I love this with my denim skirt on a warmer day. I think it just looks fantastic. So after that, I did a design that came out in the fall called Winter's Walk, and it's just a cowl, and it's really fun. And so I hope you saw that. That's a really fun cowl. I used 3 colors. Yeah. There's really fun, really simple, really oversized cowl. That is Winter's Walk, and for that I just actually used some leftover DK yarn that I had. So Ensign Brook Farm color brown, Bare Naked Wool's Kent DK color white sand, and Hudson Valley Fibers Moodna color black trumpet. So that was really good. Right, okay, here we are. Diamond Lane vest. I knit these twice. The first one, this is great. It's a really simple vest. The first one I knit was with Pasquale yarns, which was like a Pasquale Suave, which was sort of a brushed cotton. So similar to, I'm blanking on the word, similar to goat, not goat. Oh my gosh, you have mohair, and then you have, anyways, it'll come to me, so sorry, total brain fart. But anyways, brushed cotton, very similar to Surrey alpaca. I just keep talking, it'll come out. And so I held along with it some Holst Super Soft or whatever, Shetland type light fingering weight yarn, just to give it a little bit of strength and stability and structure. Played with color work in the hem, so that was the first one I knit of that, and then the second one I knit is in a cashmere from Diamond Lane, and so that's got the name Diamond Lane Vest. And this is, so Diamond Lane Percy color Loam, and Chalet Chic, which is the blue, and Francie. And this is just such a great, this looks really good over like a denim shirt or whatever. I've got a few denim dresses that I like to wear it over too. It's really fun, and I think it looks kind of cool too. Very cool, actually. Okay, so that's that. Whizzing along. I hope this isn't too fast because we're not trying to focus too much on each design. Again, if you whoop, Leaning Tower, Pisa just fell over. More information below, and then of course, you know, you can find the pattern pages. So, okay, we're nearing the end of what I've published. So Sargasso Boxy Raglan was just published, and that I knit this year, knit and designed. This is the Lamb and Kid Trio Held Double using color Avocado, Miel, and Pop Rocks. And this is just a really fun raglan, boxy raglan with a cool stitch motif, which is slip stitches. Really cool, sort of like a flame stitch look. Love that. And this feels amazing. This trio yarn is so lovely. And then I did two designs for Cake Wool, for Cake Palooza, using their yarn, their Mohair and their DK, both in Dog's Tooth Violet. So I did this icing on the cake vest, which has a little ribbon detail and a slight cable motif, textured motif all over, which is supposed to look like the cake icing. And I also did a matching fun sort of bandana style cowl with the same motif and kind of like a seed stitch border, which I was thinking would look sort of like a cookie crumb edge. So that's very cool. Really pleased with that, very proud of those. Stick those back up here. Oh, and then Simply the Best Entre Deux, which just was released recently. This also was with Diamond Lane Elmer worsted in color Cookie, which is the natural, Unsalted, which is the blue, and High Vis, which is the orange. And Simply the Best Entre Deux is a sewing technique or embroidery sort of technique for use on linens and stuff, which gives a finished eyelet area that you can pass a ribbon through. And this knit stitch looks just like that. It's all knitting. There's no ribbon passing through. It's all basically slip stitch color work. And that is really fun. So that's Simply the Best Entre Deux. That's I'm really, again, proud of that pattern too. We'll put it there. Okay, and that is all that sorry, sometimes I am a little allergic to wool. My ears get very itchy. Whatever. It is what it is. It's so worth it, isn't it? Who cares? Anyways, so that is what I knit, designed, and published this year. And we're going to come back for what I've knit, designed, and are not yet published, but will be soon. So let me just make sure, I'm going to take a break, make sure I've got everything at hand, and we'll do that in a sec. Okay, we're back. So section 3, what I have knit, designed, but are still yet to be published on Ravelry. Some are already in testing. 2 of them. One is a kit that will be published in the new year for everyone, but it's actually being knit now. It's an advent kit, and 2 will go to the tech editor in the new year. So let's dive in. So the first one was a mystery sort of knit for people who had bought the Sprinkled Fibers Advent, beautiful Advent, and I'm working on mine now with their yarn, and oh my gosh. But I had to knit it to make sure, you know, it worked and to double check the yardages and stuff like that. So I knit it originally using yarn I had in stash that was Knit Picks Capretta Color Bear, Knit Picks Stroll Effects that I self-dyed purple for the border, and a really lovely Wandering Flock color Unicorn Magic. So basically with this design, you're holding the Advent colors or a fingering weight yarn double throughout, and it's called the Sprinkled Snowflake Shawl. And I can show it to you now because by the time this comes out, Advent will be over and this will be published at the beginning of the new year. So if you like it as in these sort of 2 colors, which I think it looks really quite beautiful, you know, feel free to knit it that way. Or if you have this year's Advents, you know, this will come out in the new year and go for it. It's a really fun knit. Like I said, I'm working on a second one now with the Sprinkled Fibers yarn. Lindsay does the most beautiful colors that I'm really drawn to but don't usually play with, and so that makes it really, really, really fun, and I'm really pleased with that. So put that there. Get Out of the Pool DK. So this is what I was sort of alluding to earlier with playing with pool, you know, hand-dyed yarn that pools. This is knit flat with the idea that most pieces of it are roughly the same width, so that whatever's pooling will happen the same way throughout the whole garment, so there's uniform pooling. I thought it was really fun. I really was inspired by this when I bought the yarn. I was in New York City this summer and I loved the yarn. I fell in love with it as a hand-dyed cotton. Fell in love with it, and I saw something that it was knit like a child's garment on the wall, and I really liked it, but I noticed that the pooling was really distinct between the different parts of the sweater that was different sizes, and I was like, I kind of don't like that. That's a bit distracting. Sometimes I like it, and I've got some things that are sort of intentionally pulled, and sometimes I'm just like, no, I don't like that. So that's where I kind of came up with the idea of just knitting it flat, seaming it. It's not really a big deal. It's super easy. It's all in the pattern. And intentional pooling. So that's that will come out January, February. I think originally I said January, but I might push it back to February because there's quite a bit happening, but I'm not sure. Don't hold me to it. I'll figure that out over the Christmas break. Then I did the summer, I did the Cragmore vest. I had sort of designed this and charted it before I traveled, and when I was knitting, when I was traveling in New York City again, or staying there, I knit this version. This is using Pasquale Charas and Mohair, just for fuzz effect. Where is it on my list? Isager Yarn Silk Mohair color 41 Dusky Blue and Pasquale Cashmere Charas color 03. And I love it. And this version, you can see there's a little bit of a sleeve cuff. And then I knit it again because this one was a bit oversized on me and I had a sort of an interesting drape, but I wanted to show it in multiple ways. And I also wanted to design 2 neck sizes, one for the larger sizes and one for the smaller sizes. And in order to give the best instructions for the pickup for the collar, I had to knit it twice. So no problem, I did that. This is the smaller size. This is a fitted vest for me. I love it. It's actually a little bit with negative ease and there's no sleeve cuff there, and I really like that too. So just 2 options, both great. Oh, and this is Harrisville Designs Nightshades color Dashboard. I was looking away, sorry. There. Okay, see those shelves are filling up. I'm gonna have to get rid of more design books for all the designs coming up. Anyways, and then there's 2 more that I have knit. And then it's funny, I just realized that I'm wearing this sweater that I was meant to mention upstairs. 2 more that I've knit and designed that are going to the tack editor. This one is called Bermudiana. I think I wore this on the last episode. I love it. It's really oversized, boxy with drop sleeves. Knit in the round, there's steeking involved. It's really fun. It'll be a great pattern that if you're interested in learning how to do ladder back jacquard, that all the information is in there. So that's really cool. And no major long floats. And even with the color work where there is not ladder back jacquard, I suggest where to do the picking up the floats just so that they're optimized as in hidden, not showing on the face fabric. Where can I put this? I guess here. And then the last one that I've knit, designed, and is just about to go to the tech editor is this one. And this has unnamed as well. I'm kind of thinking the name Check Yourself. Is that good? You tell me. I kind of like it. I mean, my working title was Scotch Plaid Raglan, but that seems a bit whatever. And also I want to knit it again, which I'm about to cast on in a more sort of totally different color palette, a bit more young, youthful, vibrant pastel pinks and stuff, so that it doesn't look so you don't see it as always sort of being this kind of wintry, Christmassy looking sweater, which I see when I look at this. And it doesn't have to be. I think it's a very versatile design. This is just slip stitch patterns with a nice raglan shaping. It's boxy, it's oversized. Although the next one I knit, I'm going to not do it as oversized, just maybe this has like 10 inches positive ease on me. The other one I'm going to knit is going to be a lot less positive ease, just to show different ways of fitting it. So yeah, so that is the not yet published on Ravelry. And then if I didn't talk about this upstairs, this is meant to be in the section of the knit of other people's designs. And this is the Holly sweater by Pernille Larsen. And I'm using Holst Garn Cielo and Drops Air in green. The colorways are all listed down below. And then I just used about 3 or 4 strands of pinks and reds like Tukuwool and stuff like that to make the berries. So that's that. So we're really whipping through it. I'm going to take another break, make sure I've got everything else that I wanted to talk about, and back in a flash. Okay, bye. 1 sec. Okay, back again. Last section. And this will actually be 2 sections. Vanilla socks that I've knit through the year. I'll just flash them. And other designs that I went back to tweak, fix, whatever. So really quickly, let's do this fast. So I love a yarn that is sold at a nice knitting store in London, and now I can't remember what it's called, but it's called, the yarn is called Belgravia. It's a lovely sort of heavy sock wool, like weight. So that's called Belgravia, colored Blueberry Fields. Knit the woolens and nosh. I had enough to make a second pair, so I knit that from last year's 2024 calendar. Woolens and nosh, love her yarn if you haven't figured that out. Frankie Gray fibers. This was really fun. This is yarn that Jody and her daughter Jordan, I believe, is the dyer for Frankie Veit Grade Fibers, and this is the yarn that we received on the cruise going to Alaska. So while on the cruise in Alaska, I knit these socks, and these are DK. Lovely, 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 really pretty. They do a good job. Frankie Grade Fibers. Would like to do some more knitting with that. Mustache yarn, I just did I had some leftover fun self-striping yarn that I used for these. So I think these are like afterthought heels. I don't do this often, but sometimes I do. And I just had these little scraps of hot pink and aqua. So those are really fun. These, I don't know what the yarn is, little shorties in kind of a turquoise, heel flap and gusset, just simple little socks. Simple little shorty sock that I used the leftovers when I was in New York. And this is my friend Priscilla's yarn that she no longer dyes, but again, great, and I love those. I do find shorties are a bit tricky to get the right heel height, or calf height I should say, so it stays on your feet. Work in progress. And then one more pair of shorties, which is from Skein Cocaine, her really fun sock yarn that has like a million colors in it. So that's that. So that's the socks. These are two sweaters I wasn't wearing. And again, if you aren't wearing certain sweaters, try and figure out why, because usually there's a really quick fix. I have a pile of sweaters that was 3, and now I've got 1 left, and I'm going to fix that hopefully soon, and then, you know, put them all back in rotation. But this one, just the tension on the hem was too rigid, and so it was not lying beautifully when you wear it. And that's really important, especially for super bulky weight sweaters, to hang nicely because they are so thick and chunky. This is just the Strathcona by Tarlin Morrison. It's a great sweater. I knit it a long time ago, but never ever wore it because the hem was just too rigid. I still had some yarn left over, so I just undid it, redid the hem with a stretchier bind off. You know, there's sort of levels of stretchiness and bind offs, and it's good to have sort of a stash of ones that you like. And so I just used sort of like the next one up from what I had done. I think I had done, anyways, I can't even remember, but it really worked, and now that's back in the Rhoda and I really like it. The one that I just finished this week tweaking was this one. This is the super simple summer sweater by Hoagie Locatelli. I knit this again years ago using the most lovely yarn. If you ever get a chance to try out Long Island Yarn and Farm Alpaca Merino Firestore Worsted, and it is absolutely gorgeous. So yeah, when I knit this originally, the sleeves were just like, they literally stopped right in the crook of my arm, and there was no give because I had done like a tubular bind off or something like that. So it was just kind of like when you bend your arm and those tendons that would move, it just was uncomfortable and weird. So I just lengthened the sleeve. The other interesting thing is I don't usually take the yarn and wash it and whatever and smooth it out, and it usually doesn't matter, but this, it did matter. It's really holding its shape even though I soaked it for a long time. I forgot it in the sink all day yesterday. You know, it's not perfect. I don't really care, but I will wear it a lot more because now the sleeves are sort of 3/4 inch. And this was amazing. I had no yarn, like I had very small balls. So I was literally doing it by weight, you know, with one sleeve and then the next sleeve and how many rows I could get in. And so now I have like nothing left, just yarn ends. And the sweater's wearable, more wearable. I will wear it. So that's that. So, wow. That was 48 knitted projects, 2 of which weren't like all done in this year, but I kind of consider them sort of like renewed, the completion date revised. So yeah, 48 projects this year. I have no idea how much yardage. I'd be curious if I can figure that out on Ravelworth, aside from literally adding it all up, which is just too tedious and I won't do. But if there's a way of drilling down easier, I will. And it's been a great year. It's been a great knitting year. I've met a lot of people at the different trade shows. So if that's a highlight. I love that. I hope to do more of that in 2025. And I hope to do a lot more knitting in 2025. I know I've got projects or patterns coming, as you've seen. I've got patterns coming that are still up here. And I've got so many patterns that I want to knit of other designers. So I'm inspired. I think 2025 is going to be a good year. So with that, I will leave you. I'm not going to show you any outtakes or the outro or whatever of videos and photos of Bermuda. It's just going to be a simple one today. And I hope this finds you well. And thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a Merry Christmas. This will come out between Christmas and New Year's. So I hope your Christmas is great. I hope your New Year's is great. If you celebrate Christmas, if you don't, I hope you get a holiday regardless. I hope you just be able to put your feet up, do some more knitting, and I hope 2025 is wonderful for everyone. Okay, I'll leave you there. Thanks again. Bye.